the genuine choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes. Just sports, passion, fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound. Unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
Debates. Hey, we are live as we talk sports. Sean Webb, Real Takes Over Fake Debates. It is Monday. Sean, how are you feeling today?
Doing good, SB. How you doing this Monday?
We're recapping off a good conference game. Football, cannot complain at all. It's been good, so I cannot complain, man. We got to go right into it. We got to get right into it. Sean, another day, another Jimmy Butler suspension. Doesn't seem like it's going on with your Miami Heat. The Heat suspend Jimmy Butler. He's allegedly going to be out indefinitely again. And he was walked out a shoot-around, allegedly. And that's why he's suspended this time. What is going on in Miami with Jimmy Butler? And is it time to just tell Jimmy to stay home and don't come back until we trade you?
So I think that's what the indefinite suspension is basically meant to do. This is, third incident where he's been suspended this month. Of course, he goes back and he's told he's not going to start. That they're going to stay with Haywood Highsmith in the starting lineup. And I guess that didn't sit well with Jimmy Butler. But here's where I think Jimmy Butler is losing public support. On one hand, you say you don't want to be here or be there. And on the other hand, you get upset because you said you're not going to start. So which is it? Are you in or you out?
Right.
Whether you start or come off the bench, your paycheck is still the same. So it's not going to change. So whether you play 1 minute or 40 minutes, your paycheck is still the same. So, I think everybody kind of sees where this has been trending. I don't expect Jimmy Butler to be in a Heat uniform ever again. I expect that they'll see what they can do up until the trade deadline. The sources are reporting that Miami is still engaging with teams on the Jimmy Butler trade, but Miami has an asking price they want, and Miami's not likely to bend very much on that asking price. So, as teams get closer to the trade deadline, there will continue to be conversations. I think you're going to see this go on for the next week and a half or so. There's some other players obviously in trade conversations as well. But, at the end of the day, it's very clear Jimmy Butler does not want to be in Miami and play for the Heat. But we'll see what happens. And I think at this point, it's I think more likely than not that he'll be traded by February 6th. But of course, that's still a week and a half away. Still got some time. We still need to see where things, flush out. And, again, a lot can happen in a week and a half, but I would expect that he's not a member of the Heat after February 6th.
For me, I definitely agree that it is time to tell Jimmy Butler to go home until we can trade you. Because I guarantee they probably already had that dialect and conversation with him about, hey, look, if you want us to trade you, help us out. Go out there and ball out. We can make it probably easier. With the new CBA rules and Jimmy Butler's contract and how his attitude is, it's going to be harder to trade you because on one hand, teams who don't care about how your attitude is, they know that the Heat are at a disadvantage right now. So, hey, of course I'm going to try to lowball you. And also, it's only so many players that you can trade. One, because of how contracts are set up and people are available for trades at this point in time, or also the money has to match now. And teams are more and more cautious with the new CBA involved with who you add on your team. The money got to match. It has to at any point in time. I think Jimmy is getting to a point. You know, I'm a big Jimmy Butler fan. I told you part of the reason why Jimmy Butler where he is right now. We created this monster. Chicago Bulls with the Derrick Rose and Pierre. We created this monster. But Jimmy, you don't want to come off as you being a diva. And what I have learned with the NBA is no matter who you is and how good you are. And imagine the NBA is more player friendly than any other league. But they will find a way to get you out the league. So no man is bigger than the league, and no man is gonna be bigger than the team. I didn't seen players. And Jimmy, you're not young. You're on the tail end of your career. You're about 35, 36. You got really probably another good 2 years in you, maybe 1.5, depending on like what role you in. So it's like, bro, team's gonna be like, I don't need no aging 36, 37-year-old for $50 million a year on my team. I'll just go young, go get a couple young pieces. So Jimmy better tread carefully because you just as much as you think you're gonna get another contract spot or you gonna be just everything is peaches and cream like Miami, this could be your last stop. And I think this is something that Jimmy needs to realize. We've just seen so many great players who didn't think like, oh yeah, I'm gonna come right back. I'm gonna get this contract, and then no team wanted them. No matter even if we both can look at him and say, Sean, hey, this dude is good enough to still play in the league. But Jimmy gonna realize it because Jimmy, I'm trying to tell you, Jimmy, you're not getting no younger. He not getting no younger at all. Sean, if best case scenario, right, for your Heat, who and when, realistically speaking, who and when would you want Jimmy Butler to go? So who would you want Jimmy Butler for, and when would he possibly go? Realistically speaking, because everybody throwing the Bradley Beal, which you're gonna talk about later, but who is, like you said, the Heat got an asking price. So what is that? That's better off saying that. What is the Heat true asking price for Jimmy Butler?
I don't think anybody knows that definitively, but what I would guess it would be a mix of a young, potentially, rising player, some other, young players potentially, and draft picks. Because again, we know when Jimmy Butler is all in and locked in, Jimmy Butler is one of the best players in the NBA.
Yes.
So just because it's a distressed situation right now in a stressful environment, the Heat, just like any other organization, smartly will likely not make a reactive move. And if Jimmy Butler is not traded by February 6th, I think, again, there's going to be some conversations about Jimmy Butler coming back. If Jimmy Butler comes back and is acquiesced to the expectation of here's what we need from you, and he does that, then he'll play out the season, and then we'll see what happens this summer. If not, Jimmy Butler will be suspended again.
Yes.
Now, when Jimmy Butler first got suspended, just as a reminder, he filed. He and his representatives filed a grievance with the Players Association. So that money that he lost, the $2.7 million roughly that he lost, is actually sitting in an escrow right now. He's not been paid that money, and the Heat cannot necessarily keep that money right now. It's sitting in escrow. But he's been suspended again, and now he's losing more money. Indefinitely means there's no set time for you to come back. So every game you are suspended, you are not getting paid.
Right.
And so I think, again, it's going to come to a head at a certain point where you say, listen, I can't keep missing paychecks. And again, Jimmy Butler's not going hungry missing these paychecks, right? His kids are not going hungry missing this paycheck.
You're going to look back and be like, man, why would I, you're going to look back. I heard a lot of players to look back at this suspension money.
Sure. Yeah. No, listen, suspension money, fine money. You like, hey, I don't want to give away money. It's like getting a speeding ticket. You know what I mean? Like, it's like I could have slowed down a few miles. I didn't necessarily need, to get there as fast as I was. But, at the same time, again, I think it's you have a finite time to play professional sports, right?
Yes.
And you want to maximize that as much as possible. As you mentioned, SB, he's 35, 36, going to be 36 this year. He will not play forever, not in the NBA. So, don't waste that time with, the petty bitterness and the petty bickering and the back and forth that I think ultimately will keep him, off of the Miami Heat. And also, you're not going to win. When people say, "Oh, this is a power struggle," there's no power struggle. You are an employee of a particular situation, and you are under contract in that situation. You're a highly paid employee in that situation.
The highest paid on the team, to be exact.
Yes. So let's not, forget that, okay, yes, you can be disgruntled. It can be a tough situation. But if you ultimately want what you want and you want teams to say, hey, it was a tough situation, but at least he showed up. At least he was a professional. At least he continued to give, his best on the floor with his teammates and with his coaches. We have no problem trading things for Jimmy Butler. But if you get Jimmy Butler in your building and this is how Jimmy Butler is operated, not just in Miami, but also in Minnesota, in Chicago, at a certain point, you're going to say, well, this is just who he is. And is he worth that level of investment in terms of what we'd be sending out to bring him in? And then ultimately the trouble. So, I think there's a lot to be said for that. And again, this is not talking about Jimmy Butler's talent. This is talking about personality when things are not going your way and how well you're willing to fit in. Because again, as much as we talk about, team, we have become such as a sports fan base, we've become so very individual about, oh, this person is the reason why they win. Well, no, it's a team. The team wins. The person may play a big part in that and may have a big role in that, but ultimately it's the team who wins. And, when things don't go well, it's not just because of one person, it's the team. But that person may have a big role in that or may have a huge part in that. So I think there's got to be some, realization on both sides. And the realization is, as talented as Jimmy Butler is, when Jimmy Butler's not happy, and Jimmy Butler not being happy is Jimmy Butler's not getting his money when he wants his money. This is what happens, and this is what you have to deal with. And I think every team in the NBA knows that, and that's why you're not seeing teams rush to trade for Jimmy Butler today.
And then Jimmy got to realize just because he get traded ain't guaranteed that he gonna get his money right away when he goes to the next situation. So what you gonna do? Crash out again on that organization too? So we got to see. Speaking of like crash out on an organization, Sean, remember how we talked about we here dropped the Rooney Rule video clip, everybody react to it in the comments. So I want you to react to a couple of comments. I know we gotta start making this a segment or something, man. Sean reacts to the Rooney Rule. I would definitely say the Instagram 1 second. The TikTok was kind of a little more lighter. We just go over a couple of them. I'm gonna read them, and then I'm gonna read them out. You obviously gonna see them too, and you tell me which one. Like, hey, stop right there. Let me talk about that one. That's all I gotta do. Okay.
All right.
All right. Let's rock and roll. So we're gonna do TikTok first, because TikTok is kind of a little light. Instagram, that's where the heat gonna drop a little bit on that one. All right. So go to the Rooney Rule video real quick. Shout out everybody on TikTok. Okay, that's muted. Okay, first comment from Stevie. He said, dude was terrible. Generally, coaches that get number 2 picks are gone. Their guy came up. Can't say they wasted a season for a late round draft pick. Is it worth reacting to, Sean?
No.
Okay. Somebody just did the rolling eyes emoji about this, and I even comment question mark about it. WG says, the massive problem with the rule is that the rule shouldn't exist in the first place.
Okay, so I would assume this person probably doesn't know why the rule exists.
Yeah.
So let me give some history. The reason why the Rooney Rule exists is because in 2002, Johnny Cochran, the late great Johnny Cochran, essentially called the NFL out about its hiring practices as related to black coaches, and that black coaches were not getting not just opportunities, but also not getting the same level of leeway that their white counterparts were getting.
Mm-hmm.
So he, along with Cyrus Mirry, excuse me, another civil rights attorney, essentially threatened to bring suit against the NFL if they did not take the findings of their report seriously. This was in 2002.
Yeah.
When did the Rooney Rule go into effect? In 2003.
Great. Yeah, I would say 03.
So the NFL was in reactive mode. They did not want to deal with Johnny Cochran. They did not want to be sued.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the Rooney Rule exists.
And that's why they had to change because around that time Cochran wasn't losing. You gonna lose that case. The NFL could afford to lose that one.
It was gonna be a big loser. And not to mention, oftentimes when those kind of suits happen, generally speaking, more stuff comes out. So there's a reason why the Rooney Rule exists. It was a massive problem in the early 2000s. Fast forward, the reason why we're still talking about it is because of how teams essentially circumvent what the Rooney Rule was meant to do and don't practice it in the spirit of what it was meant to do.
And then for any people who like don't really understand in the back, like perfect example, they pretty much interviewing you for a job knowing they don't want to hire you, so they're just wasting your time. Just for I know because a couple people. Now I ain't gonna call nobody slow. I'm just saying some people don't understand sports. So the people just don't understand what Sean just told you is that they was calling people in for interviews, knowing they didn't want to hire them, didn't plan on hiring them, and just let them just wasted their time. So imagine somebody just called you for a job interview knowing they wasn't gonna hire you, and you just drove all the way here or traveled all the way to that city for no reason. Penny says, Penny D50, I think she was genuinely like I said, when I just said last thing I said, she probably doesn't understand sports or understand what's going on. She was just like, wait, you get a pick for hiring a coach of color? What WTF kind of bull-ish acism is that?
Right. So they essentially added modifications to the Rooney Rule a few years ago that would incentivize and compensate teams for hiring candidates of color in coaching and front office positions, lead front office positions. So many of you hired a general manager, you hired a head coach, that matter. And they, again, I think by incentivizing it, I think the intent was, hey, listen, we really do need to do a better job of taking a look at some qualified candidates for these openings and for these positions.
Yeah.
So I understand her point from a general perspective, but I also want to be very, very mindful of the reason why they're doing it is because you weren't seeing the numbers go up among front office and head coaching hires for candidates of color. And that's what the NFL did. Now, again, if you really want to look at the grander problem exists at the ownership level. So if you want to know why the Rooney Rule exists, it's because the ownership isn't diverse. There's no diversity at the ownership level. Right? Just look at the number of franchises that have never had a black head coach or have never had a black GM.
There are plenty. It's plenty. Yes, there's still plenty.
Right. But we also know there's never been a black majority owner in the NFL. So I think people really need to understand, generally speaking, when you talk about these issues that happen in the middle of organizations, front office, head coach, look up top.
Now, Shaw, I got three. One of them you're gonna snap on. Obviously, the bottom. We go quickly go through these. We gotta go to Instagram. So Tim Dal Porto on TikTok says, why have a rule? If you're a good coach, you will get hired regardless of your race.
Wrong.
I literally told him, I said, why have the rule? I said the rule is because they wasn't even giving people an interview. They wasn't giving nobody a chance.
Right. And the rule does not require you to hire. The rule requires you to interview.
And also, JCS says, because I guess he got upset that you said that you didn't like the word minority. He said, damn, now the word minority is too much.
Let me say this really quickly. The word minority, I think, at times is used as a way to infer that people of color should stay in their place.
Because the keyword in there, minor. You know what I'm saying? You're saying
Right.
you're little.
Right. Minor. There's nothing minor about you, me, or any other person of color.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I don't like the word.
Yep.
That's why I don't like the word. And if I can also just give you a little bit of history, just a little bit. Several years ago, I was working with a famous comedian briefly, and we were talking about doing a campaign to basically end the use of the word minority, to take it out of everything.
That'd been big if you did that.
Right. Wasn't able to go through, just, had some scheduling issues on their end, but that's how a lot of people feel about the word. That's why you hear people who say they don't use it and they won't use it when talking about persons of color or certain ethnic backgrounds, to be clear.
Shaw, you probably gonna like this one. So I guess this person noticed your FSU logo. FB Fox said FSU thinking.
Okay.
I was confused. I said, "What do you mean by FSU thinking?" I'm like, FSU not a bad school. I was like, okay, all right, let's go. And make sure you guys keep commenting on the clips, and if we'll keep bringing more of these segments up when you guys go crazy in the comments.
And if I could just speak on FSU really quickly, at one time, FSU was the only Power 5 school in the country that had a black athletic director, a black head football coach, and a black head basketball coach.
That's big. That's big. Salute to that.
But I'm gonna leave it alone.
All right. Now let's go to the gram. See, the gram get a little bit different, Sean. That's what looking at the gram comments. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, we gotta do this. All right. So first comment off bat. This from Jay Hooser 2. So essentially, you want teams to bribe. Well, he read the wrong. So you essentially want to bribe teams to hire someone just because they're black for a pick. Makes no sense.
That's not what I said.
I don't think
that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said they added the incentive if a team hires a black or person of color into a head coaching or front office position, they get draft compensation. They get a draft pick, a compensatory draft pick. That's not me saying they should do that. That's what they do.
And shout out the next one. Coach G, I guess he's a Patriots fan. He said, we endure I'm going to just say trash coach, but it's a bleep coach for an entire year. Why shouldn't we get to keep the pick?
Well, again, you got the pick because you hired the coach. And again, under the Rooney Rule, you hired the coach. Now, again, the question is, should you keep the pick if you don't keep the coach more than a year? Because again, that's been a big part of the problem, is that also we see not just black coaches getting hired less, we see them getting fired faster and more than their white counterparts. Right? There was a study when they did the study in 2002. What the study showed was, albeit with a small sample size, because at that point there had only been about 5 black head coaches in the NFL, in the modern NFL, they actually averaged 1.1 more wins than their white counterparts.
We don't talk about that though. Now, Sean, this one, before I read this comment, you see the screen, you see the profile I'm looking at, right? You see the profile, right? You see the person, you see the smell.
Go ahead.
The comment says, and I was like, this was the one when I told you, and I was like, yeah, you got to do it. This man said, the Watt machine said, it's never enough. So let's make another rule and another rule and another rule. What do you, brother? And Sean reacts. I'm sorry. Take the floor, Sean, please.
I think this is the standard case of people never want to look at why it exists in the first place. A rule in itself will not fix things. It's just meant to close the gap. Mm-hmm. That's what the Rooney Rule, that's all it was meant to try to close the gap. And again, the gap in interviewing, and again, you hope that as a result of interviewing and open interviewing and wide open thinking with interviewing, that you're going to see more hiring. Mm-hmm. So for a long time, what you would see was the goalpost moving. So what they said for a long time was, hey, okay, the league is trending more offense. They're not black offensive coordinators. They're not black guys who call plays. So that's why you're seeing more white coaches hired. Okay, well, in 2020 or the 2021 Super Bowl, we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, both of those teams had black offensive coordinators, Eric Bieniemy and Byron Leftwich. Yep. Now, it's 2025. That was 4 years ago. Either of them been a head coach in the NFL yet?
Nope.
No. So that's what we talk about. When we talk about that goalpost moving, that's what we're talking about. It's always gonna be something. But again, let's get to the root of why the rule exists. And if you didn't hear me earlier, go back and rewind because I'm not going to repeat it. Why does the Rooney Rule, why did it come into place? The NFL was threatened with lawsuit by Johnny Cochran in 2002. That's why it exists. Paul Tagliabue and the owners did not want to deal with that.
No, because they was going to lose around that point in time. That man was untouchable. The next one was a funny one. I'm just gonna say this is a funny one. Christopher JG. You can't. You probably people watching or listening. You can't see what I'm doing, but people on the video you can see. But in a funny way though. He said, "Hey, did we all hear that smoke detector? Hey, stop leaving it. Hey, we gonna end that stereotype because I'm gonna change my smoke detector batteries at some point. We gonna end that stereotype today. Hey, when I was crying when I see that comment, that was funny. That was funny. Last two, and then we go ahead and move on to the next one. Sorry, that was RCD that said the smoke detector one. Christopher JG says, stop making everything about race. But the rule of just the rule of it has to do with race. So it's like we're not making nothing about race. That's literally the rule, right?
Right. And again,
do you not understand that?
I think what people truly don't understand. I don't want to get into what's going on in the country right now. You know what's going on in the country around DEI and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. What people don't really understand is why DEI policies exist in the first place. And if you don't, please take a moment and research historically why they exist. Why they exist. Okay? Please take a moment. I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this podcast is about, but this is where you have to take some time to educate yourself and open up to educating yourself. Right. But please take a moment to understand why they exist.
Exactly. Sean, I'm going to let you pick between these last two and which one would you rather talk about. Tackle Box 1940 said, it does seem like a rule to waste black coaches' time. And J Spice 1500 said, wait. So you are telling me a nonsensical rule that is unnecessary has led to unintended consequences? You don't say.
I'll respond to the last one.
Okay.
I don't know what's nonsensical about the rule. Again, what's nonsensical is how the spirit of the rule is being practiced by organizations. That's what's nonsensical. Mm-hmm. That's what's nonsensical. Again, if you want to, and I'm not going to go through every single organization, but there are a lot of organizations, 32 of them, quite a few have never had a black head coach or general manager. There are some who've had several. There are some who've had several, but there are quite a few who've never had any.
And it's not like it wasn't a chance for an opportunity for somebody to be in that seat. It was. It was. The opportunity was there. But let us know what you guys think about this and everything that was going on with the Rooney Rule and the reaction to that. And also keep doing that. And if you guys like to have us react to the comments, and we all go crazy in the comments on our shorts, we'll do it. We'll react to it live on the show. But shout out, we gotta get back to the basketball, back to the thing. Obviously, we talking about Jimmy Butler, and the name that's been tied to Jimmy Butler the most has been Sir Bradley Beal. It's a lot of teams that's been possible takers for Bradley Beal. One has been your Miami Heat, and you have been highly disliking that idea of Bradley Beal coming to your Heat. And recently times that my Chicago Bulls have been in talks to get Bradley Beal. And I have highly disliked the idea of us getting Bradley Beal. So is there any other possible takers for Bradley Beal, or would one of our teams end up being stuck with Bradley Beal? And who is a realistic piece or a realistic place for him to go?
So I think when we talk about realistic place for him to go, SB, there are a couple of things we need to look at. Number one, his contract situation. So he's under contract for one more season, and he has a player option the following season in 26-27 of about $57 million.
With a no trade clause, by the way.
With a no trade clause. Now,
I don't know how you got that.
I mean, again, he was eligible when he signed that deal in Washington for it. And again, that's why in the NBA, the power is not in the money you make necessarily or your salary, because again, there is some power in that, but you can be moved. The power is in the no trade clause, because the no trade clause basically says, hey, you can't move me unless I approve it, and if I don't approve it, get over it. So, and Bradley Beal, again, smart to negotiate. He and his agent were smart to negotiate that. I will never ever fault him on that. Now, I think two things to consider. Number one, what are you attaching to Bradley Beal to entice a team to take that contract on? Because it's not even about necessarily the player. We understand Bradley Beal is not a $50+ million a year player at this point in his career. But it doesn't. But it's not so much about that. It's what am I getting? What incentive am I getting to take this contract on? So when Phoenix made the trade last week with Utah to acquire 3 first-round picks that they can include in trades, that was part of it. So they can add that sweetener for a team to take on Bradley Beal. So if you're a team that's looking to move salary and acquire assets, that's why you consider taking on Bradley Beal. And again, I think it's highly unlikely Bradley Beal turns down that player option in 26-27.
Yeah, he'll be a fool. He'll be a fool to turn that down.
Yeah, that's $57 million. He's not turning that down. I don't see that at all. Short of a miracle happening. But that's really what it comes down to. So a team is not necessarily excited about taking on Bradley Beal. They're excited about the assets they'll get to take on Bradley Beal.
For me, on my end, with the Bradley Beal, a realistic place. But first, let me talk from my Bulls side perspective as a fan of the Bulls. Like, I don't want to get Bradley Beal, because even if he stayed with the Bulls this year, it's a possibility that he could sign his player option and we're going to be stuck with him next year. And then, two, if we're going to trade and start blowing things up, no, we need to loot. We need to, I hate to say tank word, we got to try to get our pick. If our pick top 10, we get to keep our pick. And this is one of the deep drafts that we had in a long time. We need to go get some young talent. So if you get rid of Levine, go all out young and go grab picks. For realistically speaking, for Bradley Beal, G Money in the chat, he definitely brought up like the Pistons or the Magics. That would be a nice place where I could see Beal fitting in. I think realistically speaking, I've been hearing like the Bucks, things like that, but I don't think they got the money, the moves to make it. But I think like a possible taker, I think where he would have been nice at, and I think will take this team to another level because they need another guy. If Golden State Warriors. I think Bradley Beal on Golden State is a game changer. If I had to pick a team. Now I don't really know the money and the logistics right now on top of the head. I could probably see like a Wiggins being a part of it. Probably have to be Wiggins if anybody else was in that trade.
Oh, he
But
would have to be for the money purposes. He would
but
have
money
to be.
purpose for the money purpose, he would have to be. And I'm just looking at where Bradley Beal can maximize the most of his play style and actually where the team needs him, where he won't be a third option. He can go back to be a second option. He won't be as good as Klay Thompson, but he can be better than Buddy Hield. I can tell you that because Buddy Hield started off like scorching hot. Now, if that's the only play I say realistically speaking where he can go, and I feel like that'll be an instant game changer like that. Because
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's just
it has to be other teams involved to make it happen, though.
Yeah, and I don't know if Golden State would necessarily want to do that. I mean, again, if they're saying, "Hey, Steph, this is the one move we can make to try to, put us in better contention playoff wise," but that's a lot of salary for them
because
when they were very adamant. They kind of wanted to get out of, the salary cap, situation they were in the last few years. So I just don't know if they would necessarily do that. SB, I'll say this.
Yeah, the money is the problem because they definitely, I think they hard cap or in that first apron. They close up there, so it is kind of hard for them.
Yeah, now, but I will say again, I've learned in sports there's no untradeable contract.
They will make it happen.
If it's because a lot of times it comes down to what are you willing to attach to that contract to move it, So that's all it comes down to is what are you willing to give on along with that contract to encourage your team to take that deal on. We've seen it. We've seen it over the years. It always happens.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the key is Bradley Beal has to sign off on it. And again, you understand and I'm just going to speak on Bradley Beal's perspective. He's got a Mrs. Beal. He's got little Bills. There's school. There's, you know what I mean? Like, so, so there's things I think obviously he, is cognizant of and say, hey, I don't want to necessarily move my family, again, particularly in the middle of the school year or the season, so, maybe there's something I think, and just my belief, it's not that Bradley Beal won't be moved by February 6th. I think if anything, it's more likely that you could see something this off season.
Next story on the list, Sean. Mr. Jordan Poole, shout out, the pool party is back in the news again because Jordan Poole believes he should have been an all-star this year in 2025 now. The Washington Wizards are 6-38 by record, and Jordan Poole stats this year, he's averaging 21 points, shooting 42 from 2, 40% from 3, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. Is Jordan Poole an all-star?
I'm going to say this, SB, and I'll leave it at this. There's an old expression, crap in one hand, wish in the other, see which one fills up first.
Mm-hmm.
This is crap. This is crap. Like, come on,
he's talented, though. He's talented, though, but I just think at this point in time, no, you're not winning enough games, and then it's people that got better records than you, putting up better stats than you. And some people putting up better stats than you as a second option.
Okay. I mean, there's other things I can say. I just, for the sake, I don't want to bring light to, but maybe he still has a concussion from what happened a couple of years ago because this is inane thinking. Okay, all right.
On that note, this segment is over. Magic's G League player. They when they try to do those titles, they try to add Magic. And no, Magic's G League player Matt McClung commits to the Slam Dunk contest and seeking a three-peat. Sean, is this the last nail in the casket for All-Star Weekend when it comes to the skill events the dunk contest, especially?
I mean, I think the dunk contest has been dying since after the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, resurgence in 2016.
Greatest dunk contest of all time, by the way.
I would say greatest battle in a dunk contest. I think the greatest one might be Vince, who will
No,
talk about.
but I think Vince had the greatest performance. Greatest
Yes.
dunk contest because it was actually a contest where it's like that's why I give them not me personally. That's why I give them not.
Yeah, no. Listen, it was absolutely exciting. I remember that night I was tweeting like, "Oh man, dunk contest is back," and it was and the 3-point shootout was as equally as fun that night, and it was Toronto, and we know everything, But I do feel like the slam dunk contest is lost its luster. I mean, it's what's to happen next? Somebody's gonna pull a flat screen out of their butt, in the middle of a dunk, so it's but I mean, he's an exciting dunker. He's obviously he's done some viral things and things like that. So obviously people will be watching for that more than likely. But I think it's very telling that you got to go to the G League, to get a guy to be in the dunk contest. So
I think the two problems with me with the dunk contest and why it's dying is two things, like you said. One, with the video game era, we expect video game things to happen in real life. We don't just respect, somebody just can't do it between the legs and they'd be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Back then, Jordan did that same free throw line dunk for 2-3 dunk contests. Everybody treated like it's a 50 because at the end of the day, the dunk is a 50. I think we got to get back to the point of we need to make a scoreboard scale where no matter how people feel about the dunk, this dunk is that score because people, like you said, people want people to jump over 3 unicycles and a beach ball to get a 50. Players can't do all that. We expecting too much. And then two, that the stars don't want to do it. Now, if you want to say LeBron started it, whatever, I don't care who started it. Seeing big names in the dunk contest made it nice. Seeing Vince Carter, who was a perennial superstar at the league at the time, doing it. Seeing Jordan doing it. That makes Kobe Bryant doing it. That makes it T-Mac. That makes it more special because now you seeing your favorite players doing it. Now, the guys you'll think we should have already seen in dunk contest right now, Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards,
Zion.
Zion. Why are we not getting those guys in the dunk contest? That's the problem.
Yeah. And certainly I think it's different reasons why we don't get those guys in the dunk contest anymore. I just think, unfortunately, again, some of it has to do with the very nature of the space in the world that we're in. That if you are this great in-game dunker, but you lose in the dunk contest, you get flamed online on social media, and guys don't necessarily want to deal with that. And obviously, that wasn't a thing 30 years ago. So, I hope it gets back to the point where some of the best want to be in it. I was happy Jaylen Brown tried to step up and do it. The execution wasn't great, but at least he wasn't afraid to put himself out there. Put himself out there. So
and nobody flamed Jaylen Brown at all. They was like, "We appreciate you for at least doing it," and that's what people realize.
Yes.
Speaking of dunk contest greats, Vince Carter goes in the Raptors in Brooklyn, number 15. I wonder if he's the first player to get his jersey retired twice in the same season. Somebody have to let me know about that. I wonder if ever in the same season. Even though the Raptors, I still say the Raptors petty with how they went about it. I'm glad they did do it, but they only did it because the Nets did it. It was like, well, if anybody can retire his jersey, it's going to be us first.
Yeah, the Nets announced it first, but the Raptors was like, oh, we're going to do it first.
Right, yeah. They petty. But just a quick shout out to Vince Carter, a Hall of Famer. What was your favorite Vince Carter moment with the Nets? I know mine for sure. It's an obvious answer.
No, I'm not going to say I have a favorite with the Nets because there's only one moment I remember with the Nets.
Oh, I know you know.
Yes, it's not my favorite moment. And as far as I'm concerned, the moment doesn't exist. It no longer exists.
So it definitely don't. No, we're not doing that. It exists.
No, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Just like D Wade in a Bulls jersey, it never happened.
It happened. It happened.
Yeah.
Date. I
Nope.
want to know what when did this happen? I'm trying to think how old I was. 2005 was I because I was 93, so I probably was what like 12, 12, 13. I'm young. I'm young. My favorite Vince Carter moment is obviously the dunk on Alonzo Mourning. I lost my mind as a kid. I could not believe what I had saw. The behind the back rap come up, cock it, hold it, boom! I was like, oh my god! I still remember like how I reacted when I was a kid because this was I didn't watch the game because obviously it was like hard to watch the game. You know, Sports Center gonna drop the highlights. I could not believe what I seen, Sean. I was like, "Oh my Alonzo! Oh my god!" Like in my house, my grandma's house, we basketball fans, so he loved. I'm yelling at my grandma, Vince Carter just dunked. I was going crazy, but yeah, that was still probably one of the greatest dunks of all time. I know Sean act like he won't exist, but it's there in November 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we got to get to some quick trade news. Blockbuster trade happened. Uh, the Storm, the Sparks, and the Aces landed something big. Kelsey Plum is headed to the Sparks. Jewel Lloyd is headed to the Aces, and Lee Uri is heading to the Storm. Also in these trades, the Aces will be getting a 2025 number 13 pick from the LA Sparks. The Sparks will be getting a 2025 number 9 pick from the Seattle Storm. And the Seattle Storms will be getting the 2025 number 2 pick in this trade. Sean, what was your reaction to this trade, and who you think won if you had to pick?
Not surprised by the trade at all. Jewel Lloyd had asked to be traded some time ago. You know, there's been some things going on in the Seattle Storm organization in terms of some internal investigation around some of the practices and things of that nature. Again, if you're not aware of that, please take some time to look it up. Not going to go deep into that. Mm-hmm. And as I understand it, Kelsey Plum was looking for kind of a fresh start, as well. So she, was okay moving on from the Aces. Listen, the Aces, they got really accustomed to winning. They went out in the playoffs before they were expecting to last year against, a really good team. Yes. And and for the Storm's perspective, they want to go get younger. So the number 2 pick in number 2025 and 2025, everybody expects Paige Beckers to be the first pick in 2025. I believe Dallas owns that pick. The Dallas Wings own that pick.
They ain't giving that up.
Well, I mean, again, it depends, right? It really depends. Free agency starts this Friday for the WNBA. Depending on what they do in free agency, they could decide, hey, we want to go ahead and go a little more veteran, now. And so, a lot to happen. But again, when you talk about just, and I think the Aces right now on paper, obviously, won the trade on paper. I think Kelsey Plum was really big for them, really good for them. But Jewel Lloyd is a really, really good player.
Yes.
And you add her to Asia Wilson and Jackie Young and Chelsea Gray.
Mm-hmm.
You were telling me, hey, listen, we're coming back, and they're in talks to add a center next to Asia Wilson. So and Brittany Griner's a free agent. So I mean, again,
I was gonna say, if they get Brittany Griner, they be cheating, bro.
Yeah, I know it'd be like the 2018 Warriors, 2018-19 Warriors when they got DeMarcus Cousins. It was like, wow, really?
Come on, man. Y'all lose one time. We lose it again. We get Jewel, we get Brittany, and Brittany Griner go mess around and go there too.
We'll see. Obviously, there's only so many resources you have, and again, Mark Davis, who owns the Raiders, also owns the Aces. He's very invested in the success of that team in that area, in the Vegas area. They have a beautiful practice facility, all those things. Mm-hmm. So they're a first-class WNBA organization, but they want to win, and they got the best player in the world, and they want to maximize her prime. These are the moves you make. So we'll see what happens.
When you got a superstar like Asia, you always got to make a Bam type of move. You know, you got to.
Yeah, I saw what you did there.
But I like the move. I was kind of shocked that Kelsey Plum did actually want to go away from the team. But when you in a situation where you in your prime of a good unit, you gotta always try to get better, even if it's to the disgust the fans, be like, yeah, you're cheating, but you have to make moves. And like you said, I think it's a win-win for everybody around. But on paper, yes, you have to go with the Aces. The Aces won this, and they definitely want to come back this year with a bang. So we're gonna see how I do. And I'm gonna keep an eye on Kelsey Plum. I think now with Kelsey Plum maybe going to the Sparks, you could probably see an increase of her numbers because she is a very skilled player, scorer. She give me like a little Harden vibe a little bit with her play style, but she I'm looking for a big season from her. I don't know about an MVP, but I'm looking for the numbers to highly increase.
And you think they get another year, second year with Cameron Brink? I'm assuming she'll be back, in time, from the ACL surgery and things
She
for
was
the
a
season.
defensive
But,
dog.
yeah, but you get Cameron Brink back, so we'll see what the Sparks do. But again, I think it's going to come down to free agency and how things play out.
All right, y'all, we got to go to the gridiron. We got to recap this game. Let's go do a quick two stories, and then we got to go to the recap of the last games. Right off top, Steelers owner said he prefers to re-sign one Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. So if you are the Steelers GM, you are picking who?
Justin Fields easily.
Why?
Just more of a long-term potential answer there. Mm-hmm. We know Justin Fields is still a young guy. He did some good things when he had his chance to start and play. But I think you go with him because, again, just more upside, more long-term potential there. He could end up being, your guy. It could be very similar to, kind of Baker Mayfield going to Tampa, or Sam Darnold going to Minnesota, like, hey, we got something here and we weren't expecting it to be like this, but it's, hey, we're happy it turned out the way it did. I think Justin Fields, if I'm the Steelers, that's the one I absolutely want to keep. It doesn't mean that you don't go out and look in the draft to add a young guy potentially maybe later in the draft, or even, bring in a veteran, in the free agent market. But I think absolutely Justin Fields. Now, I think, if you're a fan of that team and a fan of the team in that division, you rather them keep Sierra's husband. But, certainly just from an upside perspective, Justin Fields for me, absolutely, no question.
For me, I think it's in the best interest of the Steelers' future to sign Russell Wilson. I disagree with you not going Justin Fields. See what I did there at the future bar too. But
Yes,
I'm going Russell Wilson for the exact points that you alluded to. This because it's not 100% certain that Justin Fields could be our starter, because you literally said, hey, even with Justin Fields, you can bring in a young guy or bring it back, because you're going to have to bring that in, because Justin Fields has not 100% solidified he can consistently be a starter. As much as we clown Russell Wilson and a bunch of everybody talk about him, Justin Fields couldn't take his job. He couldn't take the job. He couldn't force the Raiders to play him. Russell Wilson was there. He did a good job. I think you should go Russell Wilson. Pay him. You can pay him cheaper than what you're going to pay Justin Fields. That's the one that's a positive. Then you draft another young quarterback. That's what I would do personally. That you save more money with Russell Wilson, and then you get a better prospect in the future. Because if he can't beat Russell Wilson for the job, I'm sorry, he's not. He had chances. So for me, I'm going Russell Wilson at this point in time. Less pay. I know what I'm getting from him, and then I could go draft a new quarterback who possibly have better potential than what Justin Fields has.
Well, let me just say this real quick, SB, because we watched a lot of those games early this season. Mm-hmm. I think you saw that they were basically making Justin Fields play kind of within a certain structure. They weren't asking him to do a lot. Mm-hmm. I think, again, some of that had to do with the fact that he just didn't have a lot of reps compared to Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson was, came in as the number one guy. I think Mike Tomlin wanted Russell Wilson to start. That's why they ultimately made the change that they made. I was very much against that because, again, I felt the Steelers needed to look to their long-term future, but I know why they were doing that. They were doing that because they were trying to win a playoff game, and they felt Russell Wilson gave them the best chance to go on a playoff run potentially. Obviously, things did not pan out as they would have hoped. But now you got to start thinking about the future. No more Band-Aids at the quarterback position. You held on to Big Ben too long, and you didn't get prepared behind Big Ben as he got older. Don't make that mistake again. Go younger. Again, not saying you just guarantee him the job, but guarantee that he's the favorite going in. But there's going to be some competition, where, again, with the guy you may draft later in the draft, or a veteran free agent that you may bring in.
Now, but my thing is, like, if you draft another guy, right, and he looked better than Justin Fields, and you just paid Justin Fields, I feel like it's just like a waste of time.
Well, I mean, but the problem is that, again, Russell Wilson was in a similar situation when he got drafted by Seattle. They had paid Matt Flynn as a starter to come in and be their starter. They went to camp. Russell Wilson was the better quarterback. So it's not about how much you pay somebody. It's, hey, listen, this is the person that gives us the best chance to win. Guys, understanding that's part of competition. If a young guy comes in and beats out Justin Fields, then to your point, maybe he wasn't good enough to be their starter. But that said, going into the offseason, I think you re-sign Justin Fields, and I think you say, hey, you're going to be our number one quarterback, and we're going to, do our best to help you be successful, but you got to come in and win it. You got to come in and take it. I think Justin Fields, Justin Fields, you're in town. Justin Fields is very competitive. I don't think he'll push back against competition.
No, I don't think he'll push back, but for me, I think it just makes more sense for us. And E on Twitch asked Brown or Jordan. Jordan, we can move on. And of course, Tiffany said pick Russell Wilson because Tiffany is our Ravens fan. Y'all got to pick a new tight end, Tiffany, because your tight end ain't tight end. Your tight end ain't tight end.
We're not doing. People been hard on the tight ends the last couple of weeks with Mark Andrews last week and the Bills tight end Kincaid, and it's like, hey, listen, let's get off the tight ends, all right?
Andrews, Kincaid, hands more slipperier than a Diddy party, man. We ain't got time for all that. All right, man, get them out and catch them all.
And also, I want to be also clear. Everybody's jumping on Kincaid, but Josh Allen has to take some responsibility for that situation as well.
No. Same. We gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about it. We coming up and say that. Now the Ravens, when you talk to the Ravens, but no, we gonna say we got that the Bill segment is last. So say that tape. But okay, let's I want to talk about the yesterday's game. Let's go and knock this out real quick. The new Jets brass is non-committal to Aaron Rodgers. That's the new GM, new coach. Pretty much they're leaving it up in the air if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back or not. Also, Aaron Glenn has said he is possibly open into bringing Aaron Rodgers back next season. Would it be a good or a bad idea to bring Aaron Rodgers back?
I think it'd be a good idea to bring Aaron Rodgers back as long as you have invested in finding a quarterback on the future behind Aaron Rodgers. So Aaron Rodgers is a bridge quarterback at this point in his career. He's not, again, a long-term answer for the Jets or any other team. I think it's a good idea if, again, you draft a young guy to develop behind Aaron Rodgers so he can learn from one of the best to ever do it. We know Aaron Rodgers is one of the best to ever do it. And again, I think Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career is probably year to year anyway.
Yeah.
So it makes sense for them to do that. But I think those are conversations that you have with Aaron Rodgers and see what happens. And if Aaron Rodgers is okay with that, then, yeah, you definitely consider bringing him back because statistically he actually had a pretty decent season.
Yeah.
But obviously the wins weren't there, and that's what they brought him there to do. But I do think you at least consider, having him as a bridge quarterback if he's okay with that. Now, if not, then find yourself another bridge quarterback.
You took my answer. You just took my answer. Should you bring Aaron Rodgers back? H to the no, don't bring him back. New GM, new coach, bring new everything. And the problem is what you said right there. Aaron Rodgers is a bridge quarterback. Do you believe Aaron Rodgers believe he's a bridge quarterback? No. Do Aaron Rodgers' ego go get in the way? Yes, it is. Aaron Rodgers has already showed he thinks he's bigger than the team. Is he going to like shut down his meditation session to go to the team trainings and all that. No, he's not. It's done with the Aaron Rodgers experiment. I'll move on. You just get rid of your bad apple now. You're trying to build something new. And what we all have learned is that new GMs, new coaches always want their own guy. So you pretty much just a bomb waiting to detonate to get off the team. So let's not waste time. Let's not toxic the environment. Let's not waste the year, which the Jets are always good at wasting the year. Let Aaron Rodgers walk. Thank you for your time. We're gonna go somewhere new. We're gonna start over completely. You can even go pay another vet quarterback or something, or go get Justin Fields. Do something else. Aaron Rodgers just cannot be your quarterback. I think they should give up on that. But Sean, yeah, you had a hefty take on what was going on. So we got to talk about what we seen yesterday, NFL conference games, championship games. The Eagles, let's go off with the game we seen first. The Eagles destroyed the Commanders. The up-and-coming rookie quarterback, sensation, had a great run. The Cinderella story is over. The Philadelphia Eagles beat the Washington Commanders 55-23 and made a very, 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 very big statement on how much they dominate that division that they own. Just for a couple quick stats during the game, Jalen Hurts, 20 for 28, 246 yards, 1 TD. Saquon Barkley, 15 carries, 118 yards, 3 total touchdowns, 2 of them in the first quarter. Jay Daniels, 29 for 48, 255, 1 TD, 1 interception. Jay Daniels led the team in rushing, 6 carries, 48 yards, 1 TD. Zach Ertz led the team in receiving yards with 11 catches for 104. And A.J. Brown did on the opposite side for 6 catches for 96 yards and 1 TD. And also, like we talk about, Sean, a lot, the time possession. The Eagles won the time possession battle by 1 minute, 30-29. What's your reaction to this game, Sean?
You saw a very talented team yesterday in Philadelphia. Top to bottom talent. Obviously, everybody's going to look at, the points that they scored. 55 is a lot. More than a lot. Washington, I know people will look at the game yesterday and feel bad about how badly Washington lost, but the Washington Commanders had a great season, a season that no one –
They should have been here in the first place.
Yeah, no one expected them to be here just by timeline and things of that nature. But I think it proves, first, when you get right ownership, right management, right coaching, and obviously you start with Jaden Daniels and you look at some of the other acquisitions they made during the offseason, you can turn it around. To me, they're this year's Houston Texans.
Yes.
That they jumped up much faster and much earlier than expected. And if I'm Washington, I go into this offseason, I don't stand pat. I got, between 90, they're going to project it between 90 and $100 million in cap space. I'm spending. And I'm drafting well again because they had a really good draft.
Yes, they did.
As well, outside of Jaden Daniels as well. So I think you got to continue to maximize this particular window you have, and the window being you have Jaden Daniels on an inexpensive rookie deal.
Pay everybody around him.
Pay everybody around it, but also again bring in the right free agents and the right players who will fit the culture that Dan Quinn and that coaching staff is building, because they're building a culture. And I think they're building a big belief in that for that fan base, that this is a team that's going to be around for a while. And it starts obviously with Jaden Daniels. I like what he said after the game. He didn't have his head hung low. He, understood, that, the season is now over for them. But they can look back on this season. There were a lot of highs and a lot of great things that happened, for them. And again, they're going to be formidable, I think, for the next few years if they continue to build on this foundation. Now, flash forward to the Eagles. This is the most talented Eagles team I've ever seen. Top to bottom. They are incredibly talented. And, people will look at Saquon didn't necessarily dominate the game yesterday. He only had 15 carries, 15 touches. Or no, 16 touches because he had 1 catch.
Sean,
Yeah,
we're not doing that.
no, he didn't dominate the game. SB.
Sean, he had 2 touchdowns in like the first 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, but again, okay, so one of them was on the first carry that he took, 70 yards. And then the second one came off of the Washington turnover. I think Dammy Brown had the turnover on the sideline, the fumble on the sideline. Eagles get it in really good field position. But during that drive, they weren't riding Saquon. It was they literally gave the ball to Saquon down by the goal line.
It was up, Sean. If you take away everybody else scores and keep the field goals and just what Saquon gave you, they still win the game.
Yeah, no, of course. No, listen, I'm not saying they don't still win the game. I'm saying when I watched that game yesterday, it wasn't, Saquon is just completely dominating. No, that was when if you just want to talk about the Eagles, that's what a lot of people thought coming into the season that they would do in terms of, okay, AJ's got his touches, Devontae's got his touches, Goddard's got his touches, Saquon's, running the football. They became more of a Saquon and run heavy team after the bye week because that's what the offensive line winning the Nick Sirianni's office and asked for. And you can't be mad with they lived up to the hype. But yesterday, I'm just speaking of yesterday's game. Yesterday's game was one of the best games I've ever seen. I've seen Jalen Hurts play. It might be his best game this season, to be honest. He had one other game this season where I thought he was really, really good and dominated. But for the most part, this was a very balanced game. The 7 rushing touchdowns, everybody's going to look and say, well, they had 7 rushing touchdowns, which obviously has never happened in an NFC Championship game. But it was Jalen Hurts managing and doing what he does well. And, obviously the guys around him doing well. But to me, it started up front with the offensive line, and the offensive line just physically dominating and overwhelming Washington. And on the other side, Washington had that first drive that went really long. They went for it on 4th down a couple times. And certainly, but they only ended up with 3 points. And from that moment, I say, I don't think they're going to win this game. You got to score touchdowns against that Philly team. And also you can't have the self-inflicted, things with the turnovers, the fumbles, things of that nature. You can't have that kind of stuff because, again, that's how you get beat like that.
Now, for me, Sean, the reason why it don't seem like Saquon dominating, like you think he did. Wait, no, matter of fact, I'm gonna say the Saquon thing because I don't want to forget my point about the Commanders. The Commanders did have a shout out to you. Got me back on track real quick because Sean, you was talking about the Eagle. We got to talk. Who was the Commanders owner again? What was his name?
Josh. Are you about the previous owner or the current owner?
The previous owner.
Oh, Dan Snyder.
Oh, Mr. Dan Snyder. Yeah, that guy, right? Oh, look at the camera when I say this. Because I heard that he was mad. He was jealous.
Yeah.
You mad? We better without you. Oh, you mad? I got better without you. You was holding us back. You was holding us back. Oh, you mad. Oh, you mad. You mad, I'm better without you. It's like when your ex was being toxic your whole life and she been ruining your life and you finally break up with her. And now you balling and now she mad. Oh, no, I'm better without you. You didn't know what you had. You didn't treat it right. You've been ruining this team for years. No, we don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that you jealous. We don't want to hear that you mad. I'm happy. That's why. And then at first I didn't really care too much at the Command. I was like, wow, good job, Commanders. But then once he came out and said that, I pointed at him and laughed. They're better without you. Yeah, you hold them back. So now maybe Jerry Jones can look in the mirror and see like, oh, but we know that ain't gonna happen, Sean. But shout out to the Commanders though, great season. By the way, they overachieved from a team to go from the second pick in the draft to the NFC Championship game is outstanding. Nobody had the Commanders making the playoffs. Nobody even had them making it this far at all. So shout out to them. But Sean, let's go back to this Eagle point. Man, if you don't get out of here with Saquon Barkley is him, Sean. Saquon Barkley is him. Nobody didn't seem like Saquon carried because they had the game in the bag by the first half, Sean. Of course, Saquon don't carry. Not everybody get to eat. The problem is, Sean, and I'm telling you the truth about this team, the Eagles are heavily talented everywhere, but their quarterback is average. J.D. Daniel, average quarterback. His numbers looked better in a blowout game. So now he can force feed or try to get everybody else their numbers now because he's not panicking. Like you said, it's a reason why the offensive line suggested that Saquon Barkley needs to get the ball a little more touches because he is the difference maker. I can't see Jaden Daniels beating a team with his arm at the point. It's just he's just an average quarterback to me.
Well, no, wait.
He got a lot of talent. He's average.
Hold on a second. So let's not. First of all, offensive linemen would rather run the football than pass block all day. They'd rather run block than pass block all day. You know that, right?
I understand that, but it's different when you block it for Saquon Barkley too.
Well, sure, but again, it's and also I think let's also let's be very clear about what Saquon is. Saquon is obviously a monster running back. He had a great year this year. But Saquon, I think that there was a stat to show Saquon had 9 runs over 60 yards this season. And the rest of the NFL had like 10 this season. So he's a big game hitter. Yeah, when he gets past that first line of defense, it's very much, hey, look out. And someone brought up something earlier, while stylistically not the same, he's a little like Barry Sanders. That Barry Sanders wasn't necessarily the conventional, okay, I'm going to get 5 yards here, I'm going to get 6 yards here, I'm going to get 8 yards here. Barry Sanders could have 1 yard, he could have -2 yards, he could have 3 yards, he could have 4 yards, he could have -4 yards, and then all of a sudden, 75 yards later, Barry Sanders is in the end zone. So, Saquon's got a little bit of that, but I will say, in Saquon's defense, that offensive line is humongous. Yeah. They wear you out, and he knows it, and that's why he's so deferential to those guys, because he knows this is the best offensive line he's ever seen, like he's ever played behind. And no offense to the Giants, but y'all didn't have this for him in New York.
No, you didn't.
At all, including but not limited to a quarterback who's a really good quarterback. Now, is he?
Hold really good quarterback.
Hold on, SB. Hold on. Was Jalen Hurts not in the MVP conversation 2 years ago?
That's 2 years ago. He ain't
no, I'm just saying because
was
again,
he though? Was he
yes,
though?
He was.
He was. Okay, but go ahead. I'm listening though.
Yes, was he not in the MVP conversation a couple years ago? So, and again, you could make a strong argument. You could make a very strong argument that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC.
He's not the best quarterback in his division.
Wait, hold on. Stop it. Jaden Daniels is a rookie. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
I'm going to make you remember that. I can't believe I'm going to say this.
We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. Jalen Hurts is. Hold on, and I'm going to give you something else too.
He ain't better than Dak.
Hold on. Let me give you something else. Well, stop.
He ain't better than Dak. He ain't better than Dak.
Stop.
He ain't better than Dak. I'm calling it that. If Dak would do the same thing. Dak would do the same thing.
Stop. And let me give you another stat too. You know, the last quarterback to lose their first Super Bowl and get back to the Super Bowl was?
I don't know off the top of the head because it was
Jim Kelly.
Okay, I was gonna say
Jim Kelly. So Jalen Hurts is going back to the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. Usually, when you lose your first Super Bowl, you don't get back.
I understand that.
Yeah. So again, he doesn't, and again, he's not going to get your goat. Stop it.
I'm taking golf over him too.
We're not going to do that. Okay, we're not going to do that. The Rams couldn't wait to get rid of golf. We're not doing that. My point is that again, at the end of the day, Jalen Hurts isn't going to get the just due because of the talent around him, because he's on a very talented team, and he's okay with that. He's all right with that. You can win, and you could be a very successful B+ quarterback and win. He doesn't have to be Mahomes. He doesn't have to be Lamar. He doesn't have to be Joe Burrow. He doesn't have to be Josh Allen. It's okay. He understands where he is, and he's okay enough to say, hey, we got a really good team. I just got to go out and do my job. I do my job, and with these other guys doing their job, we're gonna be fine, which is what he does.
Mm-hmm.
But trash or
I didn't say he's trash. I said he's average.
Okay.
He's average.
I think he's a B+ quarterback. And again, 2 years ago he was in the MVP conversation.
And who won the MVP that year?
I think Patrick Mahomes did.
Okay. First of all, with Jalen Hurts, I'm not calling him average for the talent that's around him. The problem is his ability not to give the talent the ball and be able. You got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith over there, and they ain't getting the ball. And it's not like they offensive line not good. This man missing his reads, missing throws, missing pass. He can't make every pass on the dime. Jared Goff can. I can never say that. Dak Prescott can make better passes than him.
And I tell you what,
Daniels can make better passes than him.
And I tell you what Jared Goff can do. If it gets ugly around him, he's cooked. I know that.
Oh, he can't run. That's what.
So
he can't run. He can't run.
So let's not criticize Jalen Hurts for his ability, because part of his evaluation is his ability to use his legs. We know Jared Goff ain't got no legs.
That's fine. We'll tell him play running back because he can't throw the ball consistently. He needs to improve that throwing. If that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I think having Saquon behind you makes it much easier because you got a guy worried about breaking off a 60 pluser. That's what I'm saying. You can't tell me with confidence right now, Sean, that you believe Jalen Hurts can make every type of pass on the money, on the down right now.
And again, I'm not going to get into the semantics around that. What I'm saying is for what he does it really well. And also, I'll remind people, they were in the Super Bowl 2 years ago and they didn't have Saquon Barkley.
That's fine. Jaden Daniels only had one superb game, and that was in the Super Bowl. He balled out the Super Bowl. That's what I wanted to lie.
No, he balled out that whole season.
He was okay.
He balled out the whole season.
No,
he was literally in the MVP conversation. If I'm not mistaken, I think he finished second in MVP. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember, but I think he was second.
He probably been. But
yeah, I'm just saying he's shown he can play. Now again, is he Lamar? Is he Patrick Mahomes? Is he Josh Allen? Is he Joe Burrow? No.
Right.
That dude is in the conversation of the best quarterback in the NFC. Because all I know is ain't no other quarterback in the NFC going to their second Super Bowl in 3 years.
I mean, but he got the best team. That's again, not that. That's not that. It ain't him.
And again, 3 years ago, did they have the best team? No, he was the MVP. He was in the MVP conversation.
What happened last year though?
Again, last year was they lost their coordinators, and again they lost both their coordinators.
It was shaky.
It was some shaky stuff going on. But it wasn't just. But hold on, it wasn't just Jalen Hurts, because the defense was also shaky as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, complimentary football. He leads that really well. He plays really well. But we're not gonna sit there and act like this dude is not in the conversation of the best quarterback in the NFC. We're not gonna do that.
It ain't that many great NFC.
Which is and that's not Jalen Hurts' fault. He can't help that those other guys play in the AFC.
No, I'm not mad at that. I'm looking. Hold on, let's go. I want to look at the NFC real quick. That we gotta hold on. We gotta talk. We gotta talk about this because we can make a list. I'm gonna tell you who I'll probably take over him at quarterback right now. Let's go NFC. We go down the list. I already said I'm taking Dak and Jaden Daniels.
And you are going to take Dak. You are crazy to take Dak.
If I put that Dak in this, I'm talking about in this situation. I'm taking Dak.
You not taking Dak. You are. They even the Cowboys fans say they have the third best quarterback in the division.
By stats, but the team was terrible.
No, the third best quarterback in the division by talent.
I can't do it. I can't. I know Jay Daniels the best quarterback in the division now.
No, he ain't the best quarterback in the division. Is he trending that way? Yes, but he is not the best quarterback in that division because he only got 1 year. You gotta get some more dirt on your uniform before you get that designation.
I mean, you see what happened to Jalen Hurts every year. It's shaky on and off because this year you might go, but okay, we gonna go again. Rams. I think Matthew Stafford right now better quarterback. Seahawks, right. Gino, look, I give Jalen Hurts over Gino. I give him over Kyler. I give him over Brock. Jared Goff is definitely better than him right now.
We're not doing that.
Don't make me say Sam Darnold.
When has Jared Goff been in the MVP conversation?
He was going to be this year.
Like top 3 voting MVP.
He was going to be this year. How he was playing for the team.
Finna ain't.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. MVP conversation. Everybody had MVP type season. Okay, Sam Darnold. He got Sam Darnold. He got Jordan Love, but Jordan Love on the way No, right now,
Will
Jordan Love
he? But
on the way.
I think he's trending upwards. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Caleb Williams, not yet, but Caleb Williams going to be back.
Again, we can't even put rookies in this conversation because you ain't got but 1 year. You ain't even in the conversation.
I'm finna stand up for this because I know this is gonna make you mad. Right now, yes, Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts right now. Right now to this day. Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback.
Show me Baker Mayfield finish the top 3 in the MVP. Show me where that is.
Look, he can make every pass.
No, man, please. And he can make every interception too. Let's not talk about that.
I'm thinking Baker right now.
You are out of your mind.
Now everybody else, Kurt, Bryce Young, and I don't know who's starting for your Saints right now, but no.
Do a Derek Carr. Derek Carr's
Derek Carr's the worst quarterback in the NFC. But I'm just saying. I was high on Jalen Hurts before this, but this recently what I've been seeing with this team, and recently what I'm saying, what his job objective is, especially with his legs not involved, he just look a little average to me. I'm just calling the spade a spade. I'm just seeing other people in the NFC. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. No, NFC quarterbacks compared to AFC quarterbacks is not a chance. They all at the bottom of the list compared to AFC quarterbacks, by the way. Yeah, you can't argue that. Don't do that.
No. I said no. SB. I literally said the other day. I said literally the 4 best quarterbacks in the NFL all play in the AFC, which is why I don't do the whole. If they don't get to a Super Bowl, they ain't great. If they don't get to a conference championship game, they ain't great because only one of those guys in the AFC is getting to the Super Bowl. Only 2 of them are getting to the AFC championship game. So I don't do that. I don't assign that. That's nonsense to me.
Yeah, no,
so
100%.
I'm not disputing that. I think the 4 best are in the AFC. But when we're talking about just the NFC, Jalen Hurts is in the conversation of the best quarterback in that conference.
It's so one-sided too, Sean. I know we gotta go to the Chiefs and Bills game. It's so one-sided with the AFC, like not even the AFC top tier guys. Some of the under guys right under them can go to the NFC and if not be the best quarterback in the NFC or be in the conversation. Like Justin Herbert. That's all I was just
all right. We can move on. We can move on.
Next game on the list. The close nail biter game. Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, 32-29 win for the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead. Josh Allen, 22 for 34, 237 yards, 2 TDs. James Cook, 13 carries, 85 yards, 2 TDs. Shout out James Cook. Mac Holland, the Flintstone man, I like to call him. Three catches, 73 yards, 1 TD, 1 big catch at the end of the second half. Patrick Mahomes, 18 for 26, 245 on the yards, 1 TD. And he had a rushing touchdown, too. Kareem Hunt, 17 carries, 64 yards, 1 TD. Talk about a big sign and get a guy off the couch. He's still balling. Xavier Worthy, 6 catches, 85 yards, 1 TD. Sean, what was your reaction to this game? And also, what was your reaction to that third down play? And was it a first
down? So my reaction to the game was obviously I was expecting it to be a pretty competitive game. SB, used to be a big boxing fan, probably watch more UFC than boxing now. And I always apply my logic with boxing and UFC to sports. When you're playing the champ, don't leave it up to the refs. Don't leave it up to the scorecards. You got to go out and knock them out.
Beat them.
And the Bills played really solid, really well, but they didn't knock them out. I know people are going to talk about that third down, and we'll talk about that in a second. But, you can't convert these quarterback sneaks. Josh Allen had, I believe, by final count, 7 turnover-worthy plays. That doesn't beat the champs. So, and again, I know people are going to talk about the officiating, and I understand, and the Chiefs mojo, and I get it. But was that a first down? I think there's a couple things to consider, and this was, of course, a long conversation today. First of all, people are going to look at the ball. The ball is not the only determinant of where the spot is. Where did the body part go down, and where was the ball in relation to where the body part went down that calls you down?
Yep.
That's what determines where the spot is. They looked at it. They said it was not a first down. So be it. But there were other reasons why Buffalo lost the game outside of that. And again, it's a close game. The people don't read the score and say, oh, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
There's in a game that's 60 minutes long, that's full of hundreds of plays. That one thing is not why they lost that game. Right. And they know it. And they know they could have played better. They know they left some things out there on the field. But when you're playing the champs, don't leave it to the refs.
Don't leave it to the refs.
Don't leave it to the officials. Don't leave it to the scorecards. Go out and knock them out. And Buffalo didn't do that.
They didn't do it. They came out scared. Like, bro, I wish I would have put it on here. I made a video. It was a scene from Tupac and it was a scene from Tupac and Juice when they was finna go do that, whatever they were supposed to do, something they weren't supposed to be doing, and O tried to back out. And Tupac was like, man, this man's scared. I text that and put Josh Allen picture right behind that movie scene and sent to Deshaun when Josh Allen started again. I said, man, Josh Allen was looking out there scared from the beginning. You can't come out like that. And that begs that theory that everybody's pushing, that you fear Patrick Mahomes. You guys fear playing them. It even hits even harder when you go back and look at when they beat the Chiefs during the season. They treated it like they won the Super Bowl. And I understand, because you guys want it to be a rivalry. It's a one-sided rivalry. You got to win. You got to win. And if you don't do that, then you're done. And that's what I really see with this team. I think they made subtle and little mistakes during this game, not just that one play. And it seemed like they was nervous. I'm not going to lie. It seemed they got in that rhythm a little bit, and then Mahomes punched it right back with a quick 1-2, boom, boom, boom. Then that second half touchdown, they got a little bit of energy. Then after that, then it was like, it was over. I think it's sad to say Josh Allen just going to go down as one of those guys who just couldn't get over the hump. It's just like you ran into Patrick Mahomes.
And can I also say really quickly, this might be the modern day curse of the Bambino. And I'll tell you why. So in 2017, everybody talks about the Bears passed it on Mahomes and Deshaun Watson and taking Mitchell Trubisky. Buffalo had the 10th pick of the draft.
Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
They had the 10th pick of the draft. Kansas City traded up from 27 to 10 with Buffalo to take Patrick Mahomes.
Imagine giving away the dude who's going to be kicking your behind for the rest.
And can I tell you who the Bills quarterbacks were at that time?
I were Patrick Mahomes, I can tell you that.
Tyrod Taylor and Nathan Peterman. So this might be a little bit of modern day curse of the Bambino. Buffalo might have actually signed themselves up for this. So I'm just saying, there might be a little bit of that in that. I'm not superstitious on any level, but I do believe in karma.
Yes, it's there. And they did get them Xavier Worthy too. First of all, I'm just saying, Sean, if I know this is the team that I have a trouble getting a hump with, you can't call my phone. Don't ask me for nothing. Hey, yeah, bro. Can you get no? Don't ask me for nothing. Yeah. If I'm not finessing you in that trade, don't ask me for nothing. We can move up and no. Oh, can we do this? I'm gonna help. No. Oh, right. You get this play. No.
Exactly. Yeah. No.
I'm not doing nothing with you, bro. Nothing.
No. Yeah. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know what I mean? I'm a trader. We could trade up so y'all could get Xavier. No.
Yeah.
No. They can't call my phone for nothing.
Yeah, no, listen, I'm blocking them officially. All 30 other teams can call me. The Chiefs cannot call me anymore during the draft. Don't call me. Don't call me. Yeah.
Don't call me at all. Hey, buddy, what you doing? You want to do that trade again? No. But Sean, also Patrick Mahomes just son Josh Allen. I want you to know what your reaction is. He said, man, I always feel sorry for Josh Allen. I'm sorry it had to be us. What was your reaction to hear Patrick Mahomes say that?
I want to say just really quickly from a PR perspective, Patrick Holmes is a really nice guy. But I'm gonna call BS on this one. I don't care. I don't care.
Oh yeah,
no. I don't care. Like, no,
This
I
was
don't care.
smack talk. This
Yeah.
wasn't how he said it. How he said it.
No.
He
Yeah.
did. How it's coming out and said he mean it that way.
Yes. Do you remember there was a video? It was in 2007, right after the finals. Cleveland had just got swept by San Antonio, and Tim Duncan is talking to LeBron in the hallway after the game, and he's like, "Hey man, one day, man, this league is gonna be yours, blah blah blah." He said, "But I'm glad you let us get this one, right?" So
bro, hey, Tim Duncan is savage.
Yeah, and LeBron cracked up at it because it's like Tim Duncan,
Yeah.
he's his humor is very understated or whatever. That's what this felt like to me. Was like, hey, one day, you might get there, but thank you for letting us get this one, So, but Patrick Mahomes, listen, from a PR perspective, this looks really nice, but the competitor always wants to rip your heart out, and Patrick Mahomes always wants to rip Josh Allen's heart out, and Lamar's heart out, and Joe Burrow's heart out. Trust me, like that's the nature of it. So yeah.
His light skin, his other side to come out when he got to kiss babies and do your wave like this. But you got to realize he got another side of him. His daddy spoke his square sideways. He like that black mechanic dad that be in the back of the alley. Trust me, that other side is in him, and that's what people don't understand. He go kiss the babies. Yeah, haha, Taylor Swift. And then he gonna turn around. You ever see Cloak and Dagger? That's how Patrick Mahomes. That's Patrick Mahomes. Oh, he Cloak and Dagger, dog. It's night and day difference, bro. That don't let that man fool you. That he try to play that role like he kissing babies. Do not let that man fool you. I can't believe he said he just sunning this man out here, bro. He's sunning this man. But last but not least, Sean, the guys got Chiefs and Eagles Super Bowl. We're not gonna go too crazy in our predictions now. We're gonna wait. But I have a bold prediction, Sean.
Okay.
And my bold prediction is this. We've seen this script before already. We've seen this script. They trying to build up Mahomes, get the 3P, be big, try to build him bigger than Brady. He's the better player than Brady. You usually got to get the stats. Even though Brady's the only player who can say he beat him, Super Bowl. But Patrick Mahomes got 3 rings. 2 against the 49ers, 1 against the Eagles. And I'm telling y'all, my theory is that we've seen this script before and it's already been written. He beat the 49ers. Come back and play him a year later. What they do, they upgrade their team, get a running back, superstar running back. He's in the MVP conversation. That's CMC. Go make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Choke. Play the Eagles. They upgrade their team, upgrade their running back, MVP conversation level running back. What you think is going to happen again? I feel like the script is written. Same 2 teams. He beat the 49ers twice. He's going to probably beat the Eagles twice. And it's the same script. The team upgraded certain positions that was there, mainly they running back from the first time. Running back in the MVP conversation. Helps lead the team there. People question the quarterback. Is he really good enough? Like I'm just been questioning. Defense been so elite. Offensive line, it's the same script, Sean. Look, Sean, my bold prediction is the same script right on the wall. Mahomes going to get his 3rd one. Let's get it over with. And we can get back to football. He can stop winning for a while, go in his drought. And, we can see another team actually win. That's my theory, Sean. That it's the same script. It's the same sequel.
We'll see February 9th.
I'm saying. Also, happy birthday to Saquon Barkley on February 9th. His birthday is on that day, too, by the way. All right, Sean. We got a little heated today. I love it. Great episode today. But episode 38, 138. What do you got for me?
I have a Heisman Trophy winner. Played in the NFL for a few seasons for the Saints and Washington, formerly Redskins, obviously now Commanders. George Rogers, running back. George Rogers,
running back. Okay. Let me see who I can go with. Ha! He would his number? He would his number for real? No way he would his number. He did. I'm being funny for this number. I'm going number 38. He would on Detroit Pistons. YouTube sensation. Kwame Brown. Shout out Kwame. Hey man, look, I have to end the episode off with a bang. Appreciate you guys for watching. It's been another great episode of Real Takes Over Faith Debates with SB and Sean Webb. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you tune in on all platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Apple, Spotify, all that. Shout us out.
Saw Fontaine in the chat. Just want to say salute to Fontaine.
Oh yeah, Sean Fontaine, man. We need them picks, man. We got to start getting you, man. We get a pick of the week or something from you, brother. But appreciate you guys. See you guys on the next one, and we are out of here.